Hi, I'm Victoria Singer, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the lesson plan that I created that is focused on the beginning sounds using the instructional design method of, and I'm always mispronounce this first name, and I'm so sorry, his 9 events of instruction. They are listed here for you to be able to read, but I will actually be going through individually and talking about them as we go. The first stop we need to do is we need to gain attention. And Madeline Hunter's model for lesson plans, which actually lines up very well with this instructional model, um, you need to gain anticipation. For her, she calls it the anticipatory set. It is, how am I creating the catch? How am I creating the hook? It is something that is related to the lesson, but is fun and exciting, and will give them a little bit of prior knowledge on what we are talking about, so they aren't going into the lesson completely blind. You will see in my lesson, this is the video that I will be using on day 1. It goes through, it's just amazing. It's interactive. It's a lot of fun. It has a live link. You can click on it and watch it if you'd like. And then on day 2, it's kind of the next step harder. So we're talking about just different beginning sounds that have the same rhyme, the same ending sound. The next thing is we're going to inform the learners of the objective. So when they know the why, just like adults, we work harder and we can be more focused. They know what their goal is. They know what their objective is. And what they need to accomplish for that day. The goal is like their big long-term thing. The goal for my unit is that they will be able to not only match pictures with the same initial sound and say that initial sound, but they will also be able to put that with the letter. So if they know Matt starts with that is the letter M, and that is our goal. So that is where we want to get to long term. That isn't going to happen in this lesson or these 2 lessons. These 2 lessons are just matching the beginning sounds and making and identifying that beginning sound. It needs to be kid friendly. When you look at my actual lesson plan, you will see those are not kid friendly terms because it is for my administrator and myself. When I would talk to them, I would definitely change it up and use something more like what you see on the screen. Then you need to recall prior learning. This is your schema. This is that where the anticipatory set, or it just comes in so handy because then everybody comes in knowing something. They all have a little bit of prior knowledge that you have front loaded for them, and you're going to connect with it. So day 1, it's important that I find something very meaningful and meaty to connect it to, so that Jack Hartman, where they're up and they're moving and they really understand what he's talking about, they're going to be able to connect to that. I can refer to like the video. Remember when Jack Hartman talked about this. Day 2, I'm not only going to talk about my anticipatory set, I'm also going to be referencing the day 1 lesson. So you need to make sure that your lessons are building on each other and progressively getting harder and more complicated, kind of moving up that Bloom's taxonomy as far as questioning and thinking. So you can refer back to it and really make a connection that's going to help with the later steps of transfer. Then I'm going to present the content. This is the teaching. This is the I do stage of the I do, we do, you do. There are a lot of different ways to do it. I try to make my direct instruction as short as possible. I work in 15-minute groups with kindergartners and first graders. So my time to talk is probably under 5 minutes in all honesty. And then we go into our activity. Also part of this teaching, the activity of the presenting the content is me teaching them what the activity is that they're going to do in the we do and you do set. So I'm showing them what's happening, teaching them the materials, if there are picture cards they need to use. All of that is happening in this part here. Then the next step is provide learner guidance. This is the scaffolding. This is the examples and the non-examples. This is also part of the teach in my lesson plans because the Madeline Hunter model doesn't quite divide it the same way. And so this is where we are working together. We have then moved from like the direct instruction where I'm showing you to the we are going to work together. I'm going to help them out. Examples, non-examples, the activity that I had done and showed them, they now get to be a little more hands-on and we talk it through together. Then it goes to their practice. This is the you do. It is the same activity that we have done, the same cards, the same words. And they are going to actually work with a partner. And the reason for this in my lesson plan is because this is a new concept. If they are with me, they have been struggling and they are unable to identify the beginning sound. They do not know that cat starts with k. And so that is what we are working on. And so that's why I want to have partners to kind of give that confidence and help them talk things through. Sometimes the peer mentoring and teaching can also be very powerful in this with this stage. I also don't believe in having like specific assessment and feedback as a separate time. There's a time and a place for that, but during just a normal course of a lesson, this is all tied into the practice. As I'm watching them work together, I'm giving them constant feedback. I try to do pro so that it's sandwiched together. And I'm also asking clarifying questions. Why did you put that there? Oh, or can you think of anything else that goes with that? Like I can see where they are and I can grow or pull back or redirect as needed. I'm also making notes in my notebook like crazy. Oh, this person is struggling. This person knows it. These two people are fighting and they're not getting their best work done. And that's also where the assessment piece is coming in. So actually I am doing practice, assessing, and feedback simultaneously. And that's the only way we can get things done really efficiently with these short groups. I also have them self-assess, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. How did you feel about it when? Do you think you can identify a beginning sound? They think it's a lot of fun, and I can see like how confident they are in what we are talking about. And the last thing is enhance retention and transfer. You can see I don't have anything in this, and that's partly because of the content that I'm teaching in this lesson. This will come in more in lessons 3 and 4 when they have the basic understanding and foundation of what we are working on. It is more like the internalization and how can I relate it to future knowledge. So this is where we kind of go from an objective to a goal. How am I going to transfer this skill into then being able to identify letters and match it to the physical letters going from the listening to the written form. This is my actual plan, and if you click on it, it will take you directly to it. Like I said, I set this up in the Madeline Hunter model. This is how I do my normal ones. It's a good look at what my day looks like for one group. Luckily, we usually have a couple of groups working on the same skills. When you go to, and the materials are all in here, I use the pictures from one of our phonological awareness programs. It's called the PATR2, because they already have cards separated by letter sounds, so it's a super easy grab. But you can they have picture cards separated by the beginning sounds already. But if you don't have access to that, ask your fellow teachers, because I guarantee you have somewhere in your school an old phonics curriculum that has something similar available, or at least teachers pay teachers if all else fails. Then finally, when I look at my evaluation and my revisions, when I evaluate it, what went well? We had a lot of things that went well. The activities on day 2, the anticipatory sets were good. The materials were easy to find, because let's be honest, that's sometimes the biggest struggle when lesson planning and teaching. And it's unfortunate. I work in a small group and I understand that, like, that's a real thing. But it makes a big difference, because we can, especially when we're missing these very basic skills, it's important. What didn't go well? The lack of productive struggle. Some students just get frustrated and they just tap out and they just don't want to go on, and they ask their peers too much, or they just give up and put their head down and they're done. Also on day 2, we make that anchor chart, and that's real easy to go too long. I've got to set a timer to keep everybody focused and on task on that one. The revisions I would make, like I said, if I'm going to make this for a whole week, I would definitely be adding in those transfer activities. And I was trying to think of something fun that would kind of hit that. And I was thinking scavenger hunts, or even a sound book where they are looking for pictures in a magazine and they're gluing it into a book. And that's also going to be where I can start adding that transfer to the letter, the physical graphing of the letter. So they can see like bat starts with, or bat, ball, and blanket, all go with the letter B. So hopefully we can start making those connections there. Over here, we have our works cited for all of the resources that I used. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you.